I told my line manager, I told my CEO, I will continue to work with the same zeal and passion so that next year there is no holding back.
What were the strategies that helped DVAGO scale up, grow, expand?
So the reason to believe for the DVAGO was that we will provide authentic medicines, temperature controlled medicines, and with pharmacist availability in our stores. And as I said, life and career, it's a marathon, right? It's not a 100-meter sprint you have to do.
That you were responsible for growing Cadbury business. What were the strategies that help you growing that business?
Life, you live only once, so you should live life to its fullest. Hi guys, my name is Wasif Khan. I am working as the Chief Executive Officer of the DVAGO Pharmacy and Wellness Experts. Today I had a great session, a very interactive session with Maham. I really enjoyed it and shared my journey, my experiences. I hope you would like it too. Thank you very much.
Hello आशीष साहब, कैसे हैं आप?
Assalamu alaikum, Jeet. I'm well, thank you very much.
सबसे पहले thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm glad that you're finally here. थोड़ा रास्ते में मसला हुआ, but apologies for that.
Okay, no problem. And I think right when you started, it's been probably a year that you've been following up with me because of the busy work schedule. I have not been able to take out time, but I thought that it's overdue, so I should come over and meet you and talk to you, share my story. Yeah.
Okay, so मैं आपका एक phase रहा है जो दवागो से पहले रहा है, and then there's another phase which is about दवागो. There are 2 interviews out there on YouTube जो आपके दवागो से पहले के phase के बारे में हैं. तो I will not dive deep into that, but जो लोग आपको पहली दफ़ा देख रहे हैं उनके लिए quick 1-minute intro of like from where you have studied and from where you have worked and learned internship job, very quick,
Right.
or all the idaras you have worked for.
Right. So, Maham, I was born in Lahore. My early education was I was in Saudi and in an American school, and then I studied from Beacon House, and after that I went to Defence College in Karachi for my FSc pre-engineering, and then I did my bachelor's from Karachi University, and then I did my MBA from Institute of Business Management, which is one of the top business schools of Pakistan. That's been my early childhood, and throughout my childhood I was very active in extracurricular activities, in dramas, in debates, and also in sports. So I've always enjoyed the aspects of extracurricular along with studies. So I wasn't a very great student, but I used to enjoy subjects which had more creativity in them.
And then there were a couple of other companies you worked for. I mean, 20 years, 10 years, अच्छा अरसा आपने निकाला है और multinational में निकाला है, right? Pepsi है, Grana है, and while working for multinational companies, you have a very different approach as compared to startups. So आपने जब career का इतना अरसा वहाँ निकाला, multinational blue chip companies, why startup? Why this headache?
So I'll tell you what. I think the experience I have had in the last 23, 24 years, I've been in the corporate world. I have learned from every organization I've worked for and the people I worked with, because life is a lot about learning and new experiences, and that's what I've done. So right from my first job, I told you, was packages. Then I worked for Reckitt Benckiser as an area sales manager for Karachi South, where I had areas like Defence Clifton and Jodia Bazaar also, in the wholesale market of Karachi. So that was a new and different experience. Then I worked for Cadbury. I was the zonal sales manager South. So I was hired in Cadbury as a zonal head for complete Sindh and Balochistan province at a very young age. I was probably 25, 26 at that time. And I was responsible for complete business transformation of Cadbury for the South region. And there I worked with great leaders like Narmeen and Amin and Zia. They were my seniors over there. I learned a lot from them. And I was responsible for growing the scale of Cadbury and starting the cold chain project in my region. From Cadbury, I moved on to Unilever Foods as the trade marketing manager of foods business. This was the time when Unilever was going through an acquisition of Best Foods. So I was responsible for the foods portfolio as the TMM. And Unilever is a great organization, a learning organization. My stint was short over there, but I learned a lot about trade marketing, customer marketing, shopper marketing, because Unilever has been a benchmark organization in terms of consumer insights and shopper marketing and market research. So that was a fabulous experience where I worked with leaders like Furqan. Unilever was a great experience where I worked with business leaders like Fariha Subhani and Furqan and Jamal. and a lot of other colleagues I interacted with. So great talent Unilever has, and it was a roller coaster ride, and it was a great, quick learning experience for me. So when I was in Unilever, actually I got an opportunity to work for another multinational blue chip organization, but a startup business for that organization. That was PepsiCo Foods,
Okay.
the Frito-Lay business.
Huh.
So Frito-Lay business was right at the startup stage when I joined PepsiCo. And the business was just starting up with brands like Kurkure and Lay's and Cheetos. So I thought that being the regional head for South would be a great opportunity to work in a multinational which is starting off its business in Pakistan, which is very rare for a MNC to make such big investment and to launch a new total business. So in that, I tell you, Mom, I learned a lot. So I was able to create a whole new network of distributors in South for PepsiCo Foods. I evaluated different distributors, and then I selected Muller and Phipps, which is one of the largest distribution companies in Pakistan. And the model also that I created with MNP was also a unique model, a business model that we created. The challenge at that time was that people knew about Pepsi, but they didn't know about Lay's. The brand equity was not there. So we were able to create product distribution, availability, and the brand actually became recognizable, and there was awareness of the brand through sales and distribution. So for the next 5 years, PepsiCo did not do any marketing for Lay's.
Acha.
And it's a great case study where a brand was made available, visible, and the scale was built up of Frito-Lay through sales and distribution by ensuring the product's availability across Pakistan. And since the product was of high quality, and the product quality itself was a USP, and there was no other product like that. Sorry?
कि लोग आकर दोबारा खरीद रहे थे.
Yes. And then after 5 years, Frito-Lay started advertising and marketing. But for the first 5 years, it was all about sales and distribution and trade marketing. And then when I did this role for 2 years, I was promoted and made the national sales distribution manager. I was responsible for setting up a new department of trade marketing, sales capability, sales operations, sales information systems. And I had, since it was a new business, new department, I did not have any budgets to start with.
Okay.
So working with very limited budgets and how you can still create impact with lesser amount of money was also something I learned in this role. So I was able to create a complete trade marketing strategy and roadmap for the organization, how to make the brand visible in the outlets, the aspect of shopper marketing, the aspect of building the capability of the sales team, developing modules, then converting those modules into our own language, and then training the sales team, and then creating visibility of sales through dashboards, through reports. So that was something that we focused on because you would know that data is extremely important, and analyzing data to get killer insights and insights that you can take actions on. That's all that business is all about. So I was able to focus on that. So the interesting part was that after 4 years in Frito-Lay, PepsiCo Foods, and at this time I was probably the second senior most person in the sales function. I thought that if I'm working for PepsiCo, why should I not go out and venture and get the experience into the beverage business of PepsiCo, which is the largest business, and it's a different business than the snacks business, and it's run differently also. The business model is very different. The foods business was all about company-owned operations, while the beverages business was franchise-owned bottling operations. And in this role that I was getting, Maham, it was a parallel move. So at that time, it was a tough call to make because from a career perspective, I wanted to go a step above. But what I prioritized at that time was getting experiences is more important. Building your career as a career web is the likelihood of you being more successful through a career web is better than going through a ladder approach. Because as you gain more experiences and different experiences, you learn more. Your horizon broadens. You get more exposure. Your decision making becomes better. You have new experiences. So that's why I took the call that I'll go as a parallel move, and I moved as a franchise manager.
Okay.
And
Pepsi में.
yes, in PepsiCo. Beverages, and I was in franchise then, Maham, for around 6 years. I was promoted as from a franchise manager to a senior franchise manager even. And in this role, I was able to deliver highest CAGR growth, and my franchises were given, like PepsiCo global awards. The franchises I was managing, which was Islamabad, Peshawar, and Lahore franchises, mostly the north side of Pakistan. And I had the honor of receiving the Chairman's Award, Global Chairman's Award from Indra Nui also, for the sustained growth and the performance that the business was able to deliver. And
But I have a question in between.
yeah.
You said that Pepsi beverages की growth में you played the part and also you won the award for that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what were the things that made it grow? Quick 4-5 things you can recall कि मेरे ये step लेने की वजह से we were able to grow.
So look, first of all, any success is not by a single person. It's a team effort. It's a team aspect is always there. So I can't say that it was all because of me.
Maybe some sort of direction that you have given them.
Yeah, right. It was because of the overall team effort from my seniors at the PepsiCo side, my colleagues of cross-functionally, and also the bottling organization that we were working with in PepsiCo. So what I focused on, Maham, was while the role was such that it was a franchise management role, it was sort of that you had all the KPIs of any business, which is volume, value growth, market share growth. However, it was more of a hands-off role where you did not have complete control of the business because the business was being run through the PepsiCo bottlers. And as PepsiCo employee, I was the franchise manager for my franchisees, right? So I was like a franchisor representing the PepsiCo and managing the franchisees. So first thing what I did was build trust. As you know, that in any relationship, whether it's a professional relationship or a personal relationship, you cannot succeed unless you have trust. As Stephen Covey has also talked about speed of trust. So I built trust within the team of PepsiCo, cross-functionally, and trust with the bottling organizations, whether it was the bottling owner or it was the bottler's team. The second thing I did was I believe in working with a lot of passion, because if you do not have passion, then your performance will be mediocre. You will not enjoy what you're doing, and you will never outshine in that role or whatever you're doing in life. So I worked with passion, and I got in the thick of things. Like I would go on the production floor, stand there and see the production aspect, observe, learn. I would go on field visits with the sales team to understand the market, to visit the trade. And I would come up with creative ideas to work with the bottlers and PepsiCo on how we can grow the business in a sustained.
So since you were talking about Pepsi and how you grew the beverage business as well, but you were initially you were talking about Cadbury as well. So, and you said you were responsible for growing Cadbury business. What were the strategies that help you growing that business?
So first of all, I loved my time in Cadbury, selling chocolates. I would tell whenever I would go to a dinner or meet new people or even my old friends, and I would be very proud about what do you do? I sell chocolates. So that's something very interesting, I would say. So the first thing that I told you was that I was part of the business turnaround team. Our managing director came in new, Amin, and then our marketing director, Narmeen from Unilever, she came in, and then Zia was our sales director. And I was hired as the zonal head for South. So there was a new current in the team, a new strategy, and very something very basic in business. But you see, when at that time, I'm talking about 2003 or something like that. So Cadbury used to stop selling or reduce its sales in summers because you would know that chocolate would melt in the summers. So that's where we all came out with the strategy of having a cold chain, giving Visi coolers in the outlets so that you can manage and control the temperature of chocolates and sell it to customers in a proper manner. And then I personally worked a lot on the distribution expansion, outlet expansion in terms of numeric distribution growth.
Okay.
And also in-store visibility, how to create better in-store visibility. Because in FMCG, you know that what is important is first you need to have the coverage and then how strong you are in store in terms of your execution, your availability, your range, your stock depth, and your merchandising. It counts a lot.
But
So yeah.
Cadbury की advertising भी बहुत strong थी साथ साथ.
Exactly.
That
exactly.
helped too.
Of course it did, because it hit the chord with the customers, the consumers, the Cadbury advertising. And I think any advertising which resonates with the consumers, where the insights are driven through what consumer feel like and what they can correlate to, that advertising does much better. Like Cadbury ads were made at the time when I was there were great. And then even in PepsiCo, the ads by Pepsi and Mountain Dew, they were a class apart. So of course, we can never discount the aspect of brand equity being built through marketing and advertising. But it's just not about marketing or advertising. The whole business needs to
Distribution,
work
availability in
together.
the stores,
Exactly.
I understand,
Exactly.
yes.
So it's a complete 360 aspect, starting from production, supply chain, production, and then how is your distribution, then sales, and then your marketing, then your customer experience or after sales services, and then your other departments, like the technology aspect is now very important in businesses, the HR aspect, you know. So all of that has to sink in together well enough to create an impact.
Okay. Okay, this is going to be the deep one, and I want to dig deep into this question and your answer as well. ये आपने experiences लिए, and during these experiences you learned one thing which actually helped you a lot. ये मैं decode कर रही हूँ, मुझे बताइएगा कि अगर मैं गलत हो तो. Going into the details, you know, what customer want, what team want, what are the problems of customer, and how they want exactly that product or service. So you were digging deep, you were going into the details. When you started this startup thing and you became part of the DVAGO, I'm sure थोड़ा सा इमोशनली चैलेंजिंग भी हुआ होगा, या आप मुझे बताएंगे कि मल्टीनेशनल से स्टार्टअप में मूव किया आपने. एंड ऑल्सो यू सेड दिस समवेयर कि मैंने 15 स्टोर्स जब मैंने ज्वाइन किया, देयर वर 15 स्टोर्स एंड नाउ देयर आर अराउंड 80 और 80+ स्टोर्स ऑफ DVAGO. तो what were the strategies that helped DVAGO scale up, grow, expand, and how was it emotionally challenging for you? दोनों चीज़ों पे आप जवाब देंगे.
Right. So, interesting journey I've had in my corporate life, and a good question, I would say. So, Maham, I worked for multinational organizations, blue chip, for around 20 years, as I mentioned earlier. And my longest stint was with PepsiCo, around 13 years. So, when I was in PepsiCo, my last role was Group Chief Operating Officer of PepsiCo North Franchises. And at this time, one of my friends, Fasi Mehta, who was the program manager for National Incubation Center in Islamabad, he invited me there, and I went there for a few times, interacted with the startup businesses, the young people, the entrepreneurs who were starting off their businesses, and NIC was incubating, and NIC has done a great job in that, I would say. So that's where my interest ignited. I thought that while in life I've learned a lot, and I'm working for a great organization like PepsiCo, but I wanted some new experiences. And I wanted to get out of my comfort zone so that I can learn something new, to be in the growth zone again. And Alhamdulillah, I have no regrets about it. Of course, working for a big multinational has its own charm. But the learning I've had in the last 5 years, like when I left PepsiCo, I joined a property technology startup called Grana.com. It's an Imarat group of companies. And it's still doing great business and creating impact in the real estate sector of Pakistan. So I was there for a year as a group CEO, and I learned a lot about e-commerce, digital marketing. I along with the chairman and the board, I was involved in the hiring of a lot of people over there, setting up departments, setting up JDs for people, then getting into a 10-year strategic business plan. So all of that was a great learning experience. While I was there at Grana.com, I got an opportunity from DVAGO. So DVAGO, Pharmacy and Wellness Experts, as the full name is part of a very large local conglomerate. It's called GNT Group, Gatronova Group. which is into polyesters, polymers, fiber, textiles. Bonanza is part of the group. Gatron, Novatex, then they are also into electric vehicles now also, energy. So it's a very diverse group, and the board of directors are people who are very enterprising, who are people having a heritage in business experience, and they're people who want to grow their business and also contribute back to Pakistan, to our country. So DVAGO was started up with the concept of in Pakistan, there are 40 to 50% medicine sold are either counterfeit or ineffective. Counterfeit means not being the real medicine, and ineffective means when the medicine is not stored at the right temperature, it becomes ineffective. So the reason to believe for DVAGO was that we will provide authentic medicines, temperature-controlled medicines, and with pharmacist availability in our stores.
Okay.
So I joined this company around 2 years after its launch. It was still
2021?
I joined in 2021 Jan. It was still I would say, a startup phase. There were around 15, 16 outlets at the time I joined. And when I joined, I made a complete strategic business plan with the board. And we decided that we need to scale up the business, because in retail, scalability is very important. And then we decided that every year we will go aggressive and open outlets. And now, mashallah, we have 80 outlets of DVAGO in 10 plus cities of Pakistan, 50 plus in Karachi only. And also, we're not just a retail business, ma'am. It's not just brick and mortar. We are also an e-commerce business, which is driven through the platform of web, app, and call center. So we call ourselves a phygital business, a hybrid business of both having a retail presence and also an online presence. And that has been one of the key success factors for DVAGO, because people see trust when they hear about DVAGO. And we have been able to build this trust by not compromising on business ethics. Like, we buy our products right from the source, the manufacturers or the authorized distributors. And then we store the product in our warehouse and outlets at the right temperature. Then the pharmacists that are available in our stores, there were no outlets in Karachi 6 years back which had pharmacists availability in the stores like we do in our stores. And you'll be happy to note that 90% plus of those pharmacists are female pharmacists.
Really?
Yes. And it was unheard of, ma'am, where females working in, you can say, in pharmacies outlets, which are not, our outlets are not in high street outlets. Our outlets are community pharmacy outlets within the neighborhoods. So you would not see females working in such an environment earlier in Pakistan.
Was that a conscious effort to hire females for this particular thing?
Yes, it was a conscious decision by the board and myself and by the leadership team of DVAGO that we would like to give more opportunity to females. We wanted more gender diversity in our organization.
And you train them for this?
Yes, so the pharmacists that we hire, of course they are doctors of pharmacies, but we invest in people. We have a complete career progression roadmap where our HR function has developed in the ranks, like from trainee pharmacist to senior pharmacist to branch manager to area manager to regional manager. So there have been a lot of success stories overall, but specifically in females who have been able to grow, and they are managing their homes also, and they are growing in their careers in DVAGO also. And contributing.
की बात ये है कि औरतों के लिए खास तौर पे इसमें भी लेट्स से ब्रांच में काम करना एंड उनके लिए तो कॉन्सेप्ट में दुकान है ना कहीं सही है, तो फैमिलीज से परमिशन नहीं मिलती है. दैट इज़ अ बिगर चैलेंज. सो यू प्रायोरिटाइज दिस टू हायर वुमेन फॉर स्पेसिफिकली दिस पर्टिकुलर फील्ड एंड यू से कि 80 to 90% खवातीन हैं फार्मेसी आउटलेट्स में. How did that happen? I mean, this would have been a bigger challenge, to let's say having people who can convince their families, or maybe you say कि हम salaries ऐसी दे रहे हैं कि लोग लोगों के घर बार चल रहे हैं उससे, इसलिए they are actually convinced कि हमें एक अच्छा माहौल मिल रहा है and we are able to earn. Did the payroll was able to convince them, or was there any other effort?
So it's not just about the salary, I would say. It's never about the money only, you see. And that's one of the key learnings I've had. It's about the overall experience, the overall career, the overall culture of the organization. Because monetary aspect is there, but it is not something which you can sustain on for a whole career, right? You need to have other aspects. So First of all, giving our PepsiCo. First of all, giving the DVAGO employees the safety net. We were able to provide our female employees working frontline in the outlets with a safe working environment. That was very important, number one. Number two, the aspect of working as one team. The third aspect is giving respect to them. Then we have our value system also, our core values in the DVAGO, which are we are open. That was an aspect that we are open in terms of feedback. We are open in terms of different ideas, open in terms of diversity, open in terms of evolving. So you can learn from anyone. So it's not, the culture is not that only the leadership team can give strategic inputs. Even the frontline are invited and they are made to feel as they're part of the team. So the aspect of career progression, safe working environment, learning and development, then employee engagement, all these aspects, I'm very happy to say, and I can say that in the retail pharmacy and e-commerce pharmacy landscape, we are an employer of choice. And that's something I never compromised on, Maham, having the right people on the bus and having the top talent. Because at the end of the day, brands are built through people. Organizations are built through people. Without people, we are nothing. Even in a manufacturing setup, no matter if you have state-of-the-art machinery, European production lines, but if you don't have the right people, if you don't have people who are passionate, who are capable, who are driven, who are persistent, then that organization will never be successful in a long-term aspect.
Okay. Okay. And I want to actually dig deeper into this. आपने बीच में कहा था कि हम online की तरफ भी हैं, retail में भी हैं, right? Which is the bigger revenue stream, the online part or the retail part?
So the larger business comes from the retail business. That's our bigger business. However, the e-commerce business is a growing business. It's a growing business.
And what percentage did this contribute? Actually,
so
30%, 20%, or 40%?
Around 10 to 15% would be coming through the online
because
business.
I wanted to ask about the, building the trust when it comes to online, and that is something that a lot of other people are struggling with in Pakistan. But I see DVAGO building that trust right now. I see a lot of colleagues here because I was asking today, तुमने DVAGO की को online use किया है, app download किया है, they said, and Abdullah said, and a couple of other friends of mine said कि हाँ हमने की है. So I'm like, okay, now a lot of people are recognizing it. But I'm sure there must be there is a big challenge of building this trust when it comes to online. So how are you building the trust when it comes to online? Are there initiatives?
Maham, a good question. So I think building trust, as I spoke about earlier, in whether it's in your personal, professional relationships or while building a brand, trust is built when you work in an ethical manner. Your intentions are clear and pure, right? Trust is built when you do not compromise on standards, right? And I told you about DVAGO that we buy directly from the manufacturers or the authorized distributors. That's an important aspect of building trust with the consumers. During COVID, we, when medicines were getting short and people were not getting those medications that were very important for life-saving aspect, we had those medicines available and selling at the right price so that we can facilitate the customers and the patients. At DVAGO, we have been able to build trust by focusing on customer experience, by providing customers with authentic medications at the right temperature. And then our pharmacists' availability at the stores also helps because they guide, counsel the customers and the patients that come in. So the customers and the patients, they feel very comfortable in our outlets. They can talk about the medications, the side effects, what are the alternates, why has the doctor prescribed me this medicine, how do I consume this medicine, what are the side effects. All of these conversations happen in our store. And also online through our call center, people call us and talk about aspects on the medications. So we are always there for our consumers, customers, shoppers, for the patients. And that's how we have built our trust with the people in Pakistan. And it's very important. You see, that trust aspect is important in medication because when you're popping a pill, you don't know if it's authentic or not. You can tell about other food stuff or other beverages. So building a trust is important. While right. So, okay, should I continue?
हाँ.
And trust also is built, as I was speaking earlier, Maham, was through the people that we have. So we have a great team in the DVAGO, and we have core values in the DVAGO that we don't compromise on. Our core values in the DVAGO that we have defined are that we are open to change, open to evolve, open for feedback, and then being passionate. So whatever we do in the DVAGO, we do it with full passion. And when you have passion in your work, that reflects in the quality of the work, that reflects
Yes,
in the customer
it does.
experience.
Okay.
Then our other values are like being resilient. So it's not like we have had a smooth sailing, we have had tough times. This industry is a tough industry. There are product availability challenges from manufacturer ends. There are profitability challenges. It's not a very high margin industry that we operate in. The margins are considerably low compared to a fashion retail industry, say. But we have been resilient as an organization, and we've been focused that we are here to serve the communities that we live in. And that's how our trust is being built up, and our business scale is also growing. And besides resilience, our other values like being result oriented is also extremely important, because we focus not only just on the efforts or the inputs, but also the output is important for us. And Maham, the last but not the least, the core value of the DVAGO, which helps us build trust and relationship with our customers, is being customer obsessed. While I would say there's still a long way to go for the DVAGO in terms of building customer experience, but life is all about a journey. And as an organization, it's a 6-year plus journey now, and we are learning through the different aspects of the business, different experiences. But we are very focused that eventually we want to build a great customer experience for our
Also,
consumers
you're
and
talking
patients.
about the margins in between, right? I mean, and yes, margins are very low. So how do you manage the cash flow and the funding? Because young entrepreneurs who are watching you and who are actually facing this low margin problem in their industry as well, how would you advise them to manage cash flows and funding?
Right. Good question. So, in business, the first and foremost thing is cash flow. If you're not able to manage the cash flow, then even if your P&L looks green, you can still be out of the business. And Maham, a lot of startups in Pakistan, and I won't go into the names, but unfortunately, they were not able to manage the cash flow properly. And that's where the problem comes in. So we have been able to, initially, the group invested heavily in terms of opening the 80 outlets, and then the inventory, we have to keep a large inventory in our outlets, in our warehouse, and then hiring top talent, all of this. So a lot of capex and opex has been invested by our board of directors, because they had the vision that we want to create an impact in the healthcare space of Pakistan. Now, alhamdulillah, I can say that for 5 years, we did struggle in terms of our cash flow and P&L. But now we have been able to break even the business. And we've been able to do that with strategic planning, good strategic planning, with a long-term vision, where the board and myself, we have not compromised on building the brand. And then the great team that we have, both in our head office, our frontline outlets, and our warehouse. So all of the team gelling in together and ensuring that the strategic plans are brought to life through flawless execution. Because a good plan with a weak execution, or a great plan even with a weak execution, is of no use. So we have focused on the execution. So I would say I'm very proud of my team, which has been able to deliver day in, day out, because our outlets, some of our outlets are open 24/7. 24/7, 365 days in a year we operate. And our other outlets are open from morning till 2-3 a.m. at night. So servicing customers throughout day and night, and 7 days a week, 365 days in a year, it's tough work. But the team has a lot of passion. And also, besides passion, I think what we all gives us intrinsic motivation is the impact, Maham, we are creating in the healthcare space of Pakistan. We are all focused on creating a positive impact in the healthcare space of Pakistan. We are playing our 2 cents, our role, where we are trying to uplift the healthcare system of Pakistan. Not only in our pharmacies, you can find medicines, but you can find other consumer products also. And now we have collaborated with laboratories for lab services, with doctors. We have doctors' clinics within the VAGO stores also now, so that we can make it a one-stop shop. And long term, we want to expand into other new categories also. And we'll stick to our core, but we'll expand into new categories so that we can give new customer experiences.
You're talking about positivity. So, but you know, being optimistic is something that doesn't always, it's not always there in everybody, and it comes from certain experiences. Was there a negative experience or a time when you was pessimistic, or maybe last time you were super pessimistic? You can tell me a story about that, because you seem to be an optimistic person. What are the experiences behind this?
Right. So, Mom, I live by, I think, 5 core, 5 P's that are very close to my heart. I'll quickly go through them. One is purpose, having a purpose in life and in whatever you're doing. And then positivity that you're talking to me about. Then passion, then persistence, then patience. All these 5 P's are important, and they go hand in glove together, not just one P. On positivity, I have always been an optimist and a positive thinker. Whenever I meet new people, I assume positivity from others unless proven otherwise, right? And I build trust with the people I work with. So positivity is very close to my heart, because like negativity, positivity is also infectious. And if you are a positive person, then the whole environment around you will become more positive. So in PepsiCo experience, if I tell you that, and as I said, it's my longest tenure with PepsiCo, and I worked with some great leaders over there like Jahanzeb, Furqan, Mohammad Khosa, Agha, and Usman and Saad. All of these are my colleagues, my seniors also, and I learned a lot from them. I remember that in PepsiCo there was this one year when my promotion was, I was told informally by my line manager that your promotion is done. I have recommended, because my promotion was due, and I had given sustained growth. My ratings were also high, and the business has grown. And besides the business aspects, my people aspect was also strong. So in PepsiCo, Maham, I was telling you about that. This year, one of the year when my promotion was due, I had given 2 years back-to-back sustained growth, highest growth. I delivered on my key objectives, exceeded those objectives, met the core KPIs, and not just the business aspect, worked on the people aspect also well enough, in terms of team development, in terms of capability development. And when the annual review time came, I was given the indication that I am being promoted in this year. And then informally, I found out that my promotion case had been given a green signal by the PepsiCo Pakistan office and by the senior management. However, what happened was that, as they say, that life and careers are not straight line. PepsiCo was then started going through a new transition. A new Pepsi operating model was about to get initiated in PepsiCo world. So the promotion that had to happen in that year, because of advice from the region and the sector, some of the promotions were halted. Not just mine, a lot of other promotions were halted also, despite the fact that the performance was there and I was due for a promotion. Now, when that news was given to me in my annual review, and when I was expecting a promotion and I had been given more than indications, I was pretty sure it's happening, and I'd come to know also that it's almost done and certain. But it didn't happen. Now, there were 2 ways I could have reacted. I could have gotten very negative.
What did they say, by the way?
Sorry?
What did they say, by the way?
So they said that your performance is great, nothing wrong with your performance, and yes, you are due for a promotion, but it was not meant to be in this year. And there are some structural changes coming in the organization, which were coming. It was not an excuse, it was a fact. A new Pepsi operating model was coming in. And that's why the organization on a regional level was reevaluating the structures. So I was told that that this is it. So One way of reacting could have been I could have
Anger?
gone very angry and negative, and I could have said that this is very unfair and I was due and this and that. I didn't do that. Of course, like anyone, I did feel disappointed. It's a natural emotion. When you work hard for something and you don't get it, you do feel disappointed, right? But I gathered myself emotionally. I gathered my thoughts. I took out the frustration on sports and working out. And then
You didn't react.
I did not react. I did not react. I told my line manager, I told my CEO, I will continue to work with the same zeal and passion. I will continue to perform so that next year there is no holding back with my
Bravo.
promotion.
Bravo.
And I swear I continued with the same passion, same zeal, same spirit. I worked hard. I worked on a lot of new initiatives. And the next year was again a great year for me and the business. And I was able to deliver highest growth. And I was able to meet and exceed my objectives and KPIs.
Promotion
And
with-
that year I got the promotion. So now when I look back and I think about it, Maham, 1 year here or there, from a long-term perspective, it really doesn't matter because career is a marathon. You're not working for a year or 2 years. You're working for a longer tenure, right? So you have to have the mindset of a marathon runner from people around you, from your juniors also. And I have been able to learn in this organization, firstly from my board of directors, this is Rizwan Diwan and Saqib Bilwani and Mustafa Bilwani. They are great entrepreneurs, great strategic leaders, and very inspirational. So in my board meetings, every time I go, there's something new to learn from them, from a strategic perspective, from seeing things from a different angle, which I did not even think about from that aspect. So I learned from them. From my team, whether it's my leadership team, my senior team, or my middle management, or even my frontline staff, I learned from them also. I learned about e-commerce and digital marketing at DVAGO mostly. Because when I was working for PepsiCo, Unilever, Cadbury, Reckitt, that was more in a traditional model. E-commerce was not heard of much at that time. This is pre-COVID, right? And so I learned a lot about e-commerce and digital marketing over here. I learned about managing how another leadership trait, which is very important for leaders now to have, Maham, is understanding the generation gap. That is extremely important for leaders to know.
The average age of the professional that work here at DVAGO is 28.
Yeah, something. It would be, I don't exactly, can't say exact,
you
but
hire
28,
Gen
29 or
Zs
something like that, or 30 would be the average age. 28, 29 would be the average age of the DVAGO employees because we have a lot of young blood in our organization. So that was also a learning experience for me because our generation has had a different learning curve, different experiences, right? This new generation was born more in the information age and they think differently. What is important is you have to look at the positive side of everything. So what I try to do with my team is also see what their strengths are and utilize their strengths to the maximum. And as a leader, you also have to be adaptable, Maham. The concept of of servant leadership. So I would not say that I am following that concept completely, but what I try to do, my leadership style, Maham, is more about collaborative leadership. I try to empower people, my team. I try to take ideas from them. When I making decisions, I give weightage to people who give me advice on a certain decision. It's not that I will only decide on every decision. So I will take feedback. I will empower my team. And I believe that two heads are always better than one. So it also builds a positive team spirit. If you engage and involve people in the decision making.
हमारी बात को अहमियत दी जा रही है.
Exactly.
And also, but अभी आपने तारीफें तो कर ली Gen Z की. मुझे ये बताएं, what are the blunders that you see that they're doing?
So as I said earlier, I don't see any blunder in them.
What they can improve?
Okay, so the strengths of the Gen Zs I see is that they are very clear, they're focused on what they want from their life and what they don't want from their life also. And they're smart, they're more technology savvy because they've been born in this age. And they're ready to experiment more. That's good things about them. The thing I think the Gen Zs can work upon, and probably with experience, with age, will come in more in them, is persistence and patience. The two P's, the 5 P's I spoke about earlier, the last two P's, being persistent and being patient. Because you see, no matter how great you are in terms of whatever you do, how smart you are, how sharp you are, if you're a subject matter expert of something, there is a certain learning curve. You have to show patience. And as I said, life and career, it's a marathon, right? It's not a 100-meter sprint you have to do. So you have to be patient. If you don't get something which you think you deserve today, you will get it tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But it will happen. And it will happen in a better way, maybe, than what you imagine. You need to trust the system. And the system is that we put in the hard work. We work with purpose in mind. We work with passion. We put in the hard work. We work in a smart way. And then things happen for a reason. So there is a God Almighty who is looking after all of us. And we believe in that. That's a great thing. So if something does not turn out the way you planned it, next time it will maybe turn out even in a better way. This is how I believe in. So being patient is important. And the other thing is being persistent. So you tried something, it didn't work out. There will be failures, as we spoke about earlier in life. Take the learnings from the failures and get up and persist again. Try, keep on trying, and then you will succeed eventually. So that's my message.
Great learning for young professionals and anybody who's watching, because that's the only thing, like the major thing that they lack. And a lot of other CEOs before you have showed up in this podcast have said the same thing, that we love these things about them, but one thing that they lack is patience. And I'm sure somebody who's watching and trying to learn would definitely learn from this. It was wonderful chatting with you and learning about your, not just the story of building a business, but also the career which is related to the corporate life and multinational and then startup. And there was so much ups and downs and you managed with that. Is there anything that you want to, last piece of career advice before closing the interview that you'd like to share with the audience?
So I'll say a life advice to everyone out there would be, I would say that life, you live only once. So you should live life to its fullest. Yes, you should be clear about your responsibilities towards your family, towards the organization you work for, the people you work with, towards your friends, that's important. But live life to its fullest, enjoy life. And life is about experiences. So I would say that gain as much experiences as you can. And experience is not just working in different organizations or different companies and get different industries, right? Experience is also through traveling. You should travel more and you should meet new people. That's also an experience. You should learn about new cultures. You should read new books, just recently a book I read was about atomic habits.
I love that book.
Yes, and then a lot of other things I try to read about, because when you read, you learn. There's new experiences. I have read about something about Rumi also. That's a very different aspect of learning about life.
I love the part of that particular thing where you said experiences, gaining more experiences. I was watching this one podcast of Tanmay where he said, focus on gaining the number of experiences in a year than the number of years of experience.
Great. Well said.
Well said, because we focus on 7 साल का तजुर्बा है, 10 साल का तजुर्बा है. But at times somebody who has worked so much, हो सकता है वो 3-4 साल में भी उसने शायद आपसे ज़्यादा experiences ले लिया अगर वो actually experiences लेने पे काम कर रहा है.
That's so true. Like I told you about, like my 1 year in Unilever, that was amazing learning experience. My 1 year at Grana.com, great experience. Now 4 years in PepsiCo, I feel like I have a 14 years of experience of DVAGO.
Interesting.
14, like I've been with DVAGO for 4 years, but my 14, it looks like 14 years experience. So number of years doesn't matter. It's about the quality of experience also.
Of course.
It's about, and it's
number
about
of experiences, not the number of years of experience.
Number of experiences and not number of years of experience. And that is one thing I have always focused on, Maham, is, as I said, gaining new experiences in career, building a career web. Every 2-3 years in PepsiCo, I used to try and get a new role. get out of my comfort zone to
Lovely.
be in the learning zone and
Lovely.
be in the growth zone again, you know.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. I think there's a lot that one can learn from you. Won't be taking, since I promised 1 hour, so I won't be taking more time. Thank you so much for giving me this and this diary and a couple of other things that you come along with.
This is,
I wish DVAGO very good luck and a very good luck to you too.
Yeah. And so you're welcome, Maham. This is DVAGO's mascot, by the way. What do you see over here? You see a heart, right? So DVAGO, when we say a heart, because we're building trust with people within the healthcare space, right? So हम कहते हैं DVAGO pharmacy and wellness experts. It's about घर घर ख्याल की धड़कन. So we care about our customers. We care the communities that we operate in. So this is the heart जो लोगों के लिए धड़कता है DVAGO का. और so that's our core value of
And
DVAGO.
right message. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.